Adjusting problems in people's lives. But here's the problem with the story with Olivia. She's great at that. Her firm helps politicians, high-powered people who get into scandals to adjust and fix their lives. But here's the bad part about it. What Olivia does for other people in the public, she can't do for herself. Because here's what you find. In her own personal life, she is messed up. She's got a great professional life. In the public's eye, Olivia is seen as a person with power. And let me tell you what, if you're watching Scandal, the President of the United States is not the most powerful character in Scandal. It's Olivia Pope. Olivia Pope is the one who carries all the power in Scandal. Now let me tell you, some of you all right now, you don't even look at it from the way I'm looking at it, because you look at all the love scenes and stuff. And if you're looking at all the love scenes of Scandal, you have missed the whole point of what I'm talking about today. Because those are not the important parts of Scandal. What I want to talk about is, and when we think about that, when I think about the Olivia Pope Syndrome, I think about who helps you. See, there are a lot of us, we have the power to help other people with their lives, but who helps me in my life? Who helps the mechanic when his own car breaks down? Who helps the attorney when he's got his own case? Who helps the doctor when he can help cure other people, but when he's got his own problem that he can't cure? Who helps the pastor who can help everybody else in the world, but he can't seem to help in his own private life? What do you do when you're the teacher with the golden apple and you can teach hundreds and hundreds of people how to read, but in your own house you have a hard time teaching your own kids how to read? Who helps you in your own private life? Here's the thing that I want you to write down. You'd be amazed how many people in their professional life is good at helping other people but can't help themselves. You'd be surprised all of the people that can help you in motherhood, but they're the worst mothers in private for their own kids. You'd be surprised of how many people that we put up on a pedestal because we see them on the big screen, or you see them on the covers of magazines, or you see them on the covers of music things, and you think to yourself, oh my God, but I would love to be this particular person because they've got a great reputation, but they struggle in their own private lives. Most people all the time are saying, I don't know about y'all, but I'm a sports fan, and I've been saying for over 20 years, there are very few athletes that impress me enough that I could want to buy your jersey. See, when you see me wearing a person's jersey, it's a person that's not only good on the field publicly, but they know how to control themselves privately. See, let me help you out. How many of y'all are sports fans? How many of y'all remember the Jordan days, the Pippen days? And you can go on and on and on. The LeBron James, the KDs, and you go on and on and on. Let me help you out. What stops most athletes' careers is not them not being able to play basketball anymore. It's not their public life, it's what goes on in their private life. It's when they get convicted with the drugs in their car. It's when they get convicted with the guns. When they get convicted of the domestic violence beats of their life. They are great with their public lives, but they struggle with their private lives. And I'm going to tell you why I believe that in sports. So many people say, why do you believe that in sports? I believe that happens in sports is because in their private lives, they've got a referee. See, in their private life, if you play football and you step out of bounds, the referee blows the whistle and stops the plays and tells that you violated that life. In basketball, if you break a rule and you touch the ball with two hands, the whistle is blown and the referee calls double dribbles. But in your private life, who's refereeing what's going on when you by yourself? Come on. And see, the problem is here with the Olivia Pope Syndrome is that she is great out there in public, but what she does to herself is when she's doing it behind her back. Now, some people say to themselves, you know, Pastor, that's not important because, see, I live every day to protect my rep. But, see, your rep is what people know of you. Your character is what God knows of you. So my prayer every day is yeah, Lord, I want you to help me to exalt me in my public life, but Lord, please help me in my private life. Because see, in your private life, there is no referee to blow a whistle when you go out of bounds. There is no referee to blow the whistle when you go a little too far out of bounds. And here's why you got to know that that's so important. You can spend your whole life building up your public life, and one wrong move in your private life can destroy everything that you've done. So it's important for you to understand that you have to understand the dilemma of your private life. So I just want to talk about this for a few minutes. And what I want to do is I just want to, for those of you all who are Scandal fans, I know some of y'all are Scandal fans, you look forward to Thursday. That's why y'all glad we get out of church at 8:30. I know some of y'all break tickets and run lights and everything to get home at 8 o'clock. Learn how to DVR, learn how to watch it later. It's going to be on. And for some of y'all who've never watched Scandal, now after these 3 weeks, you probably going to watch it. And when you do, you're going to watch it in a different light. But just for a few minutes, I want to get into the private life of Miss Olivia Pope. Can we do that? Can we get into Olivia's business for a few minutes? First of all, let's talk about Olivia's business. Olivia's in a relationship with a man that she can't have. She's in love with the President of the United States of America. Olivia's whole love and trust is in a man that she cannot have. And not only, watch this, some people say, well, you can't do it. But I would always say, if you're going to pick a man that you can't have, don't pick a man that's in the public eye. So not only is she trying to mess with the President of the United States, but the President of the United States don't just have a wife. He has the First Lady of the United States of America. And here's the problem with Olivia. All her love and all her trust is into something that she can't have. Now watch, let me tell you something. I'm coming down your street. Because the first week we talked about the fact of nouns, and a noun is what? A person, place, or thing. Now let me bring it back home for you. How many of you all are giving your love to something that you can't have? Come on. See, some of y'all are giving your love to a place that you know for a fact that you cannot have. Some of us, you pass over Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, looking forward to the club, a place you cannot have. Some of us are looking into money and things that we know we cannot have. Some of us are even having our hopes in people that you know among all of your thought process you can't have. And let me tell you, I looked in the Bible, I really did. I said, Lord, how do we address, give me a scripture that I can kind of read to kind of help people understand when they are in love and throwing all their hope in something that they can't have. And I looked in the Bible, and I found the scripture. Now, I didn't find it from the Bible. I found it from the book of Teddy Pendergrass. So here we go. Glenda, turn this up. Turn it up.
Oh my God.
You ready? Some of y'all that know this song, you already know it. Don't play like because you're in church. You don't know this song. How many of y'all know this song and know the words to it? Teddy Pendergrass is talking about when I give my hope and my love in something, he even give us a recipe. You know the words, sing it with. Come on, sing. Sing it. Turn up with love is somebody and somebody loves you back. See, y'all don't do that. Sing it for them, Teddy. Turn it up. Listen to what it's saying. It's the only thing that my heart desires. Just a rich name. Listen to it. So Liv is in love with somebody that can't even love her back. Who's got me inspired? Listen. See, some of y'all saying, Pastor, why are you playing that in church? Turn it down a little bit, like that's a Jesus song. I don't know if y'all know that. Loving somebody and somebody loves you back. But see, in this case with Olivia, we learn from this point. You turn it all the way down. We learn from this point. Let me get back to where I'm supposed to be. We learn from this point with Olivia that it is always good to love something or somebody that can love you back. And I don't know about y'all, but Teddy broke it down at the end. And he said, I don't want no 70-30. No. Not 60-40. I want a 50-50 love. See, turn to your neighbor and say in 2014.
In 2014.
I want a 50-50 love.
50-50 love.
Not 70-30.
Not 70-30.
Not 60-40.
Not 60-40.
But a 50-50 love.
50-50
that whatever you put your love and your heart into has got to be willing to love you back. Now let me tell you how Olivia got messed up in this. If you've been watching Scandal for the past 3 seasons, there have been some great guys that have been in Olivia's life. Matter of fact, remember the one senator? Loved Olivia. But Olivia couldn't love him because her love was in the President of the United States. There were great guys who Olivia dates in Scandal that are willing to give their whole life, all of their 50-50 to Olivia. But Olivia can't give it to them because her 50 she's already given to somebody that can't love her back. And so you got to know for yourself that many of the times that we're in scandals and we suffer from the Olivia Pope Syndrome is because you are loving something that does not have the capability of loving you back. Sometimes what you're doing is you asking something or some place or some person to love you that doesn't have that capability. Sometimes what you got to learn is that some of the things that come to you is already preoccupied with something else. And so when you become into that syndrome, you got to know how important it is. Now, how many of us right now, you just got to say it, don't raise your hand, how many of you are in love with a noun that can't love you back? That right there is one of the things that can keep you in trouble. And so here's what I want you to write down. Her problem is that her love is focused on the wrong person. See, some of us right now, you are struggling because you have focused your love on the wrong person. And that some of you are right now, you're stuck in a rut because the person that you really loved even left you. Whether they left you by walking out the door, they left you when they died. And so everybody else who comes into your life from that point on suffers from the fact that you are not willing to love them because your love is still enthroned with the person that's no longer in your life. For some of us, that's why we struggle with God. It's because when God tries to fix the things in your life, your love is still stuck on something that is gone or you can't have. So every dilemma, you need to write this down, every dilemma in your life that is not solved becomes a scandal. And every scandal becomes a syndrome. Every dilemma in your life that is not solved becomes a scandal. And every scandal in my life that I don't solve becomes a dilemma or a syndrome in our lives. So real quickly, let me go through these points and show you how we got to break this whole syndrome. Number one, here's our first one. No, it's not. That's my second. Let's go back with my first one. Here's my first one. First one is, Olivia was a public success with private struggles. She was a public success with private struggles. Look at verse 23. All have sinned or all have scandals and fall short of God's glory, but all are treated as righteous freely by His grace because of a ransom that was paid by Christ Jesus. See, we talked about this last week, and you got to understand, my scandals does not separate me from God's love. Because if you read that verse from the way I read it to you, it says, all have scandal or all have sins and have fallen short of God's glory. But look what happens. Even though you got a scandal, even though you got a dilemma, there's a comma there that says, but all are treated as righteous. Freely. Not by the fact of what you do, but by His grace because of the ransom that was paid by Christ Jesus. So the first thing we learn from there is that here's her problem. She has a public success with private struggles. And my question for you today is this. See, one of the reasons why people call us hypocrites is because they see one thing in public and something different in private. And the key is that our prayer life should be, Lord, help me. See, my thing is, the Bible teaches us in Luke 2:52, it says, Jesus grew in stature, first of all, with men and with God. So what that means there is the public there. But at the same time, while you're working on your public demeanor, understand the fact, man only sees you for a certain length of time. God sees you 24 hours a day. So it's more important that I pray and I ask God, God, help me with my private struggles. Because when you think about your private struggles, the person who's the most guilty of what goes on in your private life is the person that you see in the mirror. See, so many of us won't confront that from them. And it's not the fact that you didn't grow up with a daddy. It's not the fact that you grew up in a dysfunctional household. It's not the fact that you went to Chicago public schools. Your worst enemy is yourself. Yes. And when you understand the fact that it's me, oh Lord, then God can begin to help you with your private struggles so that your private life becomes more important to you than your public life. One of the things God had to show me early on, and you can write it down if you want to, but he showed me, he said the first step of understanding your private life is get to the point where you don't care what people think.
Come on.
See, I'm not walking around here every day to impress you. I didn't wear this suit to impress you. I felt like putting it on and I did. See, some people, you wake up every day with the whole script of how you're going to impress people. And my thing is this, you went into debt, you spending more money than you have. You're going through all kinds of situations trying to impress people really that you don't even like. Because you're trying to keep up with a reputation. So the first thing you got to think about is, Lord, help me so that I don't live my life trying to impress people. Young people, you need to learn that real quick. It doesn't matter what people say about you. If you understand that what God feels about you, I could care less what other folks think about me. I'm not going around looking for claps. I'm not going around as a politician looking for votes. That's why so many times people look at pastors and they confuse us with politicians. I'm not running for election. I don't care what people think. I really don't. That's why I'm free to say what I want to say when I want to say it. Because I'm not looking for votes. You either got a choice. Either you deal with me or you move on. But when you are more interested in what people think about you, what are they going to say? Some of us, we get your hair done and you walk out in public to see what people are going to say when they respond to it. If there are enough people vote against it, you change your hair. If enough people vote against a particular color, girl, if I was you too dark. You know you shouldn't be wearing no pink. Wow. Wear what you want to wear. It's your thing. Do what you want to do. See, what a lot of folks don't understand is you can't deal with your private if you're spending most of your time on your public. So you got to make sure that that's important. So let's look at this next one. The second problem she had is that live, and here's what I want you to put before that, if we do not deal with our private lives, we leave evidence for the enemy. If you do not deal with your private life, you leave evidence for the enemy. See, Olivia Pope is in the evidence business. If you watch Scandal, when situation comes up, the first thing that Olivia Pope and associates do, they go out to acquire evidence against the people. Sometimes they use blackmail. Sometimes they use situations to fix problems. Now watch this. She's in the evidence business. But at the same time, while Olivia Pope is going around gathering evidence on other people, people are gathering evidence on Olivia. See, Olivia's got so caught up into the fact of her private life, she's leaving all types of things behind. While she's supposed to be in there coaching the president on running this election, she's in there trying to figure out how she's going to sleep with the president. And what she's doing is, while she's collecting evidence on others, others are collecting evidence on her. See, some of us, and I'm just going to tell you this, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. The devil doesn't even have to use a private investigator for you. You go right into the devil's office and take the camera and go cheese and take a picture of yourself. You are so easy to leave evidence for people that you should want to say to yourself, you know what, devil, if you're going to get any kind of evidence on me, you're going to work hard to find it. Some of us right now, you leave the evidence so easy, the devil ain't got to pay an investigator for you. All he got to do is step out the door. You don't go to he don't have to send the investigator to you. You go to the investigator. Watch this. Look at this. You leave all kind of evidence behind. And you've got to understand that the fact that we should be ashamed of that. You should be praying to yourself, Lord, let me live an evidence-free life. Lord, let my character be so strong that when accusations would come up against me, people wouldn't even listen to them. See, when you work on your private life, when you work on your private struggles, you understand that. You got to understand and start getting to the point. When those phone calls come, you got to start thinking to yourself, is this the devil trying to collect evidence on me? See, some of us are here right now, you in trouble because some of the text messages that you put out are been stored somewhere as evidence by the devil to be used at a later date to destroy your private life. Some of the pictures that you've taken, that's why I keep telling you over and over again, watch the pictures you take. Because pictures worth 1,000 words. They ain't got to say nothing. Sometimes all people got to do is show that picture, and they'll say automatically that's what you was thinking on your mind when you took that picture. You got to be careful to understand that one of the biggest ways that your life can fall apart is when you don't take the time to work on your private life. Because the evidence of the enemy is being collected all the time. The way that he destroys my reputation is going out and getting evidence of what's going on in my private life. You need to start living your life. If you're going to walk with Christ, start thinking that the paparazzi is following you at all times. The paparazzi is following you and acquiring evidence on you. Right now, we just got finished writing down those things that we know have been collected by us. We know that the devil is collecting evidence. And he's collecting evidence from your private life to destroy your public life. And if you don't know what that's called a blown witness. And when your witness is blown, you are now called a hypocrite in the eyes of the world. And so again, you need to write that down, man. Listen, I have the paparazzi following me all the time. And I've told you that no matter where you at, remember somebody's watching you. The devil is always collecting evidence. So number 3 is that eventually I must face my struggle. The thing about those things that you have written on that paper is that eventually you've got to face that. You've got to face it. Verse 26 says, during the time of God's patient tolerance. Here's the thing. God is patient. You need to write that down. God has been so patient with me. I don't know about you, but God was so patient and still is patient with me. But here's what you might want to write down. God is patient, but don't make him wait. God is patient. Don't make him wait. So how do I keep God from waiting? How do I let God know that I'm ready? Here you go. You let God know that you're ready, and you tell him that you don't have to be patient anymore when you decide to face your demons. When you decide to say, you know what? God, I've got to deliver. Lord, there's a syndrome. See, a syndrome is something that happens consistently in my life. And what a syndrome is when that first dilemma comes up that you don't deal with becomes a scandal. Then once it operates in your life, then it becomes a syndrome. Let me tell you how the devil works it. The devil is good at taking things that are abnormal and make them normal. Let me help you out. God will take a situation and will tell you in your word when something is off. But the devil will get you to a place where you will not face that demon, something that is abnormal in your life. And if a period of time goes on where you don't face a demon, the devil will fix that in your life where that thing that is abnormal will seem normal in your life. Some people looking at me like, you know what I'm talking about. I'm going to tell you in a second what I'm talking about here. But here's what I want you to write down. We have the ability, and see, that's when you know it. I have the ability to help others, but I can't help myself. Change occurs, because how many of you in this room are looking for change? I don't know about y'all, but I'm always looking for change. Here's what you want to write down. Change occurs when we confront it. All right. Change occurs when we sit there and decide that, you know what? No. It is me. I hear people talk all the time and they say, Pastor, I'm really looking for a decent relationship, and I had 5 different boyfriends in 5 years. And it seems like all of them are crazy. Hold up a second. 5 different people. They're all crazy, but there's one common denominator in all 5 of them relationships is you. Have you ever wondered if maybe you the crazy one? But see, see, you won't figure that out until you sit down and confront the fact. Because here's what has happened. The devil has tricked you into thinking that your crazy, abnormal behavior is normal.
All right.
When really you the one should be taking medicine, but you've been out here talking about everybody else who should be taking medicine. When you're the one that's abnormal, but the devil has tricked you into making you think that that's a normal way of life. When you want to change, but not confront, it's worthless. Might want to write that down. When you want change in your life, but you don't want to confront it, it's worthless. And we know that she is. See, what happens is, Olivia is the one in the show with the most power, but she won't take the power that she uses to help other people to help herself. She's the most powerful person. And what you gotta do is I'm so sick and tired of hearing people. Well, Pastor, the reason why I act as stupid as I act is I ain't had no father. You know, Pastor, the way I act as stupid as I act because of what my mother did. I act as stupid as I act because of the way my brothers and sisters. I do this, I do that, I do this. Here's what you need to write on your paper. It's time for folks to man up and woman up. And start facing the fact that you are what you are because of yourself. It's time for you to deal with your own private struggles instead of trying to be so busy with dealing with other people's public struggles. We need to start understanding that. And so when I talk about this situation, because some people looking at me like, you know what I was talking about, when I tell you how the devil will take something abnormal and make it normal, I'm going to give you a little short story that I wrote out here. Number one, I've always been saying for years that there's no such thing as a bad child. A child emulates the environment he's in. And I hear people say that, and I always help folks, you know, pal, before you go in there, I don't want you to know that's a bad child. Well, you know what? If that's a bad child, I guarantee if I go home, he came from some bad parents. He lives in a bad house, probably in a bad neighborhood, because bad begets bad. But watch this. If I take a child in an abnormal situation, see, this is why you don't understand how important this is, because I'm going to tell you how we got into the situation we're in. You take a kid who's been born and raised in an abnormal situation, who now thinks things is normal by the way he acts. What happens is he ends up marrying somebody. And he marries usually the wrong person. And so that person with the abnormal behavior, who thinks that it is normal, now marries someone else, and then they bring their so-called normal, which is actually abnormal behavior, into their marriage. Then what happens is the marriage becomes abnormal. Because you have a choice. It's either you buy into the fact that that behavior is normal, or you fight against it and say, hold on, I wasn't raised like that. See, there's some people I know, y'all just straight out drama queens. I wasn't raised like that. I ain't no drama queen. Everything does go good for me if we don't fall out. But some of y'all, that's the way you was raised. A day ain't a good day unless you have some drama in it. Well, I wasn't born like that. I was born under peace and lilies. What I am saying is give peace a chance. See, I was born with the hippie culture. See, we don't know nothing about all that drama and stuff like y'all into. Y'all drop a hat, put grease on your face, start fighting in a second. I wasn't born like that. I wasn't born where every time we get together as a family, we duke it out. I ain't like that. I don't like that kind of stuff. When I see some mess going on, I got a mess detector. And see, what you find is older you are, the less tolerance you have for mess. Bull chips. You have less tolerance for that. But some people, watch this, you hang around some people, some of y'all, you know what I'm talking about, you got friends. And every time you go out with them, you take a deep breath because you know some mess is going to kick off before the day is out. It's either by their own will, or as soon as you see them bottles get popped, and that malt liquor and that rock guts get passed around, you already know some mess going to kick off. You know about 3 o'clock, give them about 2 hours to get that antifreeze in them, and you know within 3 hours it's time for us to start skedaddling, because Uncle gonna hit or Uncle and Auntie gonna get to fight, and there we go, the whole family reunion, ribs all over the grass, everything else. It just happened for 10 straight years. And so watch this, instead of somebody confront Uncle and say, Uncle, if you come to the family reunion, don't drink, what we do is we don't say nothing about it. And so Unc's normal, which is actually abnormal, is something that we just take, you know, that's just Unc. I hear people say, oh, come on now, you know that's just, you gonna act a fool. And every time you stand there, come on, you already know what Uncle's doing is abnormal, but he's even sold you that bag of goods, that abnormal is normal. So when we don't confront, so here's the last one. Our last one in that, we got 5. The fourth one is, we don't need no more excuses. You see that on there, right? The day for excuses should be over. You need to say to yourself from now on, that stuff that you wrote on that paper from your private struggles, you will no longer bind me in this scandal anymore. I'm done with that. Mr. Devil, forget it. Them old pictures you got and stuff like that, I'm finna go see the real Olivia Pope and we finna fix this situation. Because he's going to tell me how to fix this situation. So guess what, Mr. Devil? What used to keep me from being able to go to sleep, I'm going to be able to sleep now because I will not be bound by this scandal anymore. Here's another thing you should probably write down. This week, Mr. Devil, I will not live in that anymore. I am not going to live in that anymore. I'm going to sleep this week. No more scandals in my life. And see, here's what I'm going to tell you. If you're around people who love drama, here's what I need you to write down on your paper. You have to decide if you want to live in that world. Because the drama world will kill you. When I leave here, I'm leaving with a smile on my face, not because you pushed me out of here. Not because you took my blood pressure so high my head exploded. I'm going to leave here with a smile on my face. So when it comes to drama, you have to decide, you know what, if you don't want to get rid of the drama, here's the thing, I ain't living in that world. See, I got a choice of whether or not, I can't tell you whether or not you need to stop that drama, but I do have a choice of telling you whether or not I'm not living in the drama world anymore. So you've got to understand that when we get to the point of no excuses, then the real verse 23 that says, all have scandal and have fallen close, short of the glory of God, becomes real to us. When you decide that, hey, from this day forward in 2014, ain't no more excuses. Ain't no more excuses. Don't play no more Jamie Foxx, blame it on the alcohol. I don't want to hear that mess no more in 2014. That's old. Don't blame it on your mama no more. Don't ever come back in here from this day forward, good seed, and tell me anything about Pastor act a fool because I ain't got a dad. No more excuses from this point on, because just like Teddy Pendergrass said, it should be 50-50 from this point on. You about to get ready to fix this situation. Why fix it? To allow yourself to be pulled back in it again. Now the last one is called exit lanes. Exit lanes. And the exit lane is this. God always gives you a way out. See, what you're about to do right now, I'm about to give you an opportunity to get off the exit lane. Some of y'all look at me like I'm crazy. You know, pictures worth 1,000 words. Exit lanes. Exit lanes. What is an exit lane? Here's the problem. Let me tell you how so many people get in scandals. People get in scandals because they say one thing, but they behind does something totally different. You say one thing with your mouth, but your behind goes one way. Let me help you out. See, on that sign it says Indiana, Chicago, and Danville. Now, if you stay in the left-hand lane, where are you going? Anybody else see Chicago? Those lanes are clearly marked that tells you if you stay in this particular lane right here, here's where you're going. If you want to go to Chicago, what should you be doing? If you're in the far left lane, what should you be doing? Getting over to the right, right? But here's what happens with so many people you're around. This is how you got to know when somebody's trying to pull you in a scandal. When their mouth says Indiana, but their behind says Danville. See, there's a lot of people who's misaligned. Oh, I ain't gonna do that no more, pals. I ain't gonna do that no more. And then they turn around telling me, how in the world I get into Danville? You got into Danville because your mouth said Indiana, but your tail went over to Danville. And so you gotta understand the problem is I can't continue to misalign my words and my actions. You gotta get to a place that what you say you do. Because see, if I say I'm going to Indiana, and I make my behind stay in the lane of Indiana, where do I end up at? Indiana. See, a hypocrite is a person that say, come on, go with me, girl, we going to Indiana. And your tail goes to Danville, and then when you get to Danville, you tell them, girl, what, we supposed to go to Indiana? That person's smart enough to know you just said it with your mouth, but you actually went over there to Danville. You got to understand that God gives us a chance and gives us a way out. Now, this is what you need to write on your outline. Because see, here's what's going to happen with what you put in here. Number one, what you're about to shred up, the evidence that you're about to shred up, God does not promise you that there will not be some damage from this. Because whatsoever a man sows, he must also reap. So don't think that, okay, I did my dirt, I'm going to push it down in there and God going to clean me clean. It does not promise you that there will not be some damage from this. It will not even promise you that you won't have some hurt behind this. Because you might have to call Willie and say, Willie, lose my number. It may cost you some hurt for that. It may also, too, cause some collateral damage from that. Because some of the things that you're about to shred here, you've been doing it so long, it has involved other people. And so it has involved their hurt, too, as well. So don't think that you're going to be able to get clean and then everybody else just keep your hurt, but God will fix me. No, some things we do cause collateral damage. But you know what? Thank God we get a way out. See, thank God. See, with me, I'm to the point in my life that I don't want lanes like this. I want God to give me what's called no access lanes. You know them lanes with the big signs on that say wrong way? I know if I get back on that lane again, I'm going to have a head-on collision. Because see, some of y'all, this is too willing. Because some of y'all, if this is the devil over here, Danville is devil. For those y'all maybe watching later now, I'm not calling Danville the devil. But Danville, if Danville was the devil, then here's the thing. Some of us are going to go to Danville and say, well, I don't want to be with the devil, as long as you know that there's an exit lane that allows you to get back to God again. Some of y'all just jump off from exit to exit. Go over there, do your little dirt Danville, and then jump back on, and come back in 10 minutes later to Indiana and say, oh, I'm sorry, y'all, I'm late. Who just had to make a quick stop? Didn't tell us you went to Danville, because Danville's where the devil is. See, but you want to hit up with the devil real quick, and then get back on the next exit, and then jump on Indiana, and you want to make everybody think that you went to Indiana like them, but actually you took a detour. See, some of y'all need to pray like me. Lord, I want no return access lanes. When I get off, I'm off. I want to be able to get off that lane when I go in there and pull up to the gas station and say, I think I got off at the wrong lane. I want to say, well, it's going to take you got to go back 150 miles to be able to get back. I ain't going back that far. So you want to get to a place of no return with God. So here's what I want us to do.